The New Orleans Saints, a team I've been begging to hit the reset on for years and years and years, and it looks like they're finally headed that direction. Saints fans, this team's not good. Let's just be upfront and honest about it. This is not a good team, but it does have some really good young pieces, and you do have some building blocks. You look at a Chris Olave, he's a long-term answer if he stays healthy. And you really hope he gets a contract extension done here soon, especially with the rising price at the receiver position. You look at some of these younger players they brought in, there's talent there. But they really need to still reset this team. It's not there yet, and it's not close to being there yet. But let's talk about the job they did in the offseason resetting the team, the loss of Derek Carr and what that means, plus how I see them doing in this season, and maybe more or less the future outcome for the Saints in 2026, just to stay a little bit more positive on this video. So let's jump into it. Start out, I want to talk about Derek Carr retiring. Now, if you listen to me in recent years, I did not like the move for the Saints. I did not think Derek Carr was worth the money they were paying him. I did not think Derek Carr was all that great, to be completely honest. He had way too many injury concerns, and I just felt like it made no sense for the Saints, who should look towards a rebuild, to bring in Derek Carr. Well, it didn't work out for the Saints. They sucked with Carr. Now they need to move off him, and they will probably be in a better position long term. Derek Carr is not one of the worst quarterbacks in the league, so the Saints weren't going to necessarily bottom out and be a top 5 pick. But he wasn't good enough to carry this team to the playoffs, which means the move, to me, never made logical sense. Moving off Derek Carr, you now have a rookie quarterback who we'll discuss in the draft portion of this, but you will more or less either bottom out or you'll have a future building block, and that's the key for the Saints right now. You need guys who fit your timeline. Derek Carr didn't. Him retiring how he did under injuries is horrible, do not get me wrong. But for the Saints franchise as a whole, it's better for their long-term health. Now, before I jump into free agency, I have to talk about the biggest move they made in the offseason probably overall, hiring head coach Kellen Moore. And Kellen Moore is a very interesting hire, because I am not a fan of Mickey Loomis. I think he should be ousted here very shortly. He cannot be the guy to build the Saints long-term, in my opinion. But Kellen Moore, I'm really excited about as a head coach. Kellen Moore, I think, really did well with bad situations. Dallas, they didn't have a whole lot of flashy things. They had Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and not much else, but they still had very good offenses. He knew how to establish a running game. He knew how to play call a game very well. Went to the Chargers, had Justin Herbert, but that defense was really bad. That whole coaching staff just didn't meld well together, and he was ousted there as well. When a lot of people thought, hey, this was his chance to get a head coaching job, it didn't work out. Then he went to Philadelphia. He went to a stable organization with stable talent in, I wouldn't say elite quarterback play of Jalen Hurts, but above average quarterback play. And they were very successful, winning a Super Bowl. I really do like Kellen Moore, and I'm excited to see where he does long term, because it wasn't long ago he was playing quarterback as well. I don't believe he's been retired for more than 10 years at this point. So to see him already adjust to head coach of an NFL team is pretty cool. Now, I will say this. He is a young head coach. There is going to be some growing pains. The Saints will make mistakes. There will be timeout mistakes. There will be decision makings. You're like, really? But he's a young coach, and just like a younger team you're going to put together, he has to learn. He has to grow. The coach we see at the start of the season will not be the same coach we see at the end of the season. I like the Kellen Moore hire. I'm concerned about Mickey Loomis building the team for him if he'll have the fair chance long term. But I think as a football coach, I really like Kellen Moore. Talk about free agency, and they lost Paulson Adebo. That sucks. Paulson Adebo is a good cornerback, but they did bring back Chase Young, re-signed him, and Chase Young, when I looked at my notes here, I saw his age, I was like, wait, this dude is still in his mid-20s? It honestly shocked me a bit, but he's still young enough that you can feasibly pay him long-term in, say, 3 years down the road. When you're ready to contend for a playoff spot or maybe even win a playoff game, he'll still be in his prime. So it's a very good business, good deal, nothing really too backbreaking. It's only $33 million guaranteed at 3 years, $51 million. That's not bad. Bring in Justin Reid. I love Justin Reid. I don't know if I would have brought him in if I'm the Saints. He is closer to 30 than Chase Young. He is at a 3-year, $31.5 million contract with $22 million guaranteed. It's not bad. Brandon Cooks, I was shocked when I read he is 32 because he feels much older because he's been in the league for so long. And Saints fans, You're well knowledgeable on Brandon Cooks. I don't think I need to say anything there. They just didn't really, break the bank. They brought in Julian Blackmon after you had Tyrann Mathieu retire, and Tyrann Mathieu was at the end of his career. Not really shocking there. Blackmon, I think, is fine. He's nothing that's going to blow you away. They had a fine, serviceable offseason in which they brought in some guys that I'm okay with. Chase Young deal, I really like. But I do look at some of these deals, I'm like, well, are they going to be here long term? Or are they going to be really good trade chips to get some more draft picks to rebuild this roster? Now, for the draft class for these team previews, I usually only cover 2 just because I have a podcast where I'll go deeper in. But I will be shouting out a 6th-round pick because there's a YouTube video on the channel with him, and I loved him during the draft process. But to start out, we got to talk about Kelvin Banks Jr., and Banks was not somebody I was as high on as everyone else because I don't see him as a tackle. I think he is a better guard. He's a more natural guard. He reminds me of Trevor Penning. I was not a Penning guy because I did not think he was an NFL tackle. I view Banks Jr. the same way. I think he'll be a very good guard. I think he'll be better than Penning because, again, I wasn't the biggest Penning guy. He just reminds me so much of him, but a better version. I think he's a guard, not a tackle. I have no problem, though, taking a guard with the 9th overall pick because if you just build out that O-line, when you do draft your eventual starting quarterback, if they did get him in this class or future on when you look at the 2026 draft class, you just really want to have an offense line that's stabilized in front of him so he doesn't get rattled, he doesn't take unnecessary hits. Second pick, and I've mispronounced this dude's name enough, but I finally mastered it, Tyler Shough. Tyler Shough is a quarterback I do like, but I don't love because he does have a massive injury history, and he sometimes is rattled in the pocket because of that. When he is upright, when he is confident, that dude can sling the ball all over the football field. He's an older prospect, yes, but I have no problem with taking him in the 2nd round. I personally would have rather get him in the 3rd round, but Saints, they knew what was going on with Derek Carr. They need a quarterback, and it's worth taking the chance on this guy. I think Shough has a cannon of an arm. He can throw it all over the field. He has some good touch. You're just really concerned about his injury history and his pocket awareness. He gets rattled very easily, panics, throws it away, rushes throws, and that's not what you want to see out of a young quarterback, especially someone who is an older rookie. I think he's got talent, but he's a very big if. If he hits, I think he'll be very good, but it's a big if, even if that works out. Now, the last draft class pick I want to talk about for the Saints was real deal Devin Neal. And I called him that from the start because whenever I watched him, I just had that play in my head. He is versatile. He can have some power. He's got some speed. He's got some really good burst. He's got good cuts. He can play out of the passing game. I don't understand how he was a 6th-round player. I don't get it. I would have taken him much earlier. I would have taken him over a lot of running backs in the draft class because I look at him and I look at an aging Saints running back room. Spoiler alert, I'm not the biggest Alvin Kamara guy anymore because he's just aged out a lot in my opinion. Devin Neal, I think, can fully take on that role, be their starting running back, be their long-term answer at running back, and do phenomenally well. It's a great bit of business. It's the first pick in a long time that I've seen Mickey Loomis make that I'm like, I love that move. So I really do think this Devin Neal pick can work out long-term and may be their best pick, especially when you look at the value they got him at in the 6th round. Talk about the Saints' strengths, and it's really hard to find it because this team doesn't have a lot of them. I know some people are pointing out their pass rush. I'm not fully there yet. Cameron Jordan is just getting up there in age, and Chase Young, very good. I am concerned about his injury history. So when I looked over this list, I was like, well, I'm just going to say wide receiver because Chris Olave, when healthy, is still really good, borderline elite. Raheed Shaheed, who is a very good number 2. I like the Saints' top 2 receiving core, and when I look at a team that I just don't see a lot of strengths at, when I look at those 2 players and I see they're the top 2 guys at the positions for the Saints, it gives me some faith that they have a stabilizing unit on the team. Weaknesses, man, I could just list off a bunch of things. I am not high on this team. O-line, I still have question marks on. Defense, all over the field, I have question marks on. I just think the Saints team is just not that good. So for me to point out one pure weakness, I'm just not going to be able to find because so many things come to mind. This team is just not good, and I don't expect them to be good this year. Now to talk about where I think they'll finish in the division. If you can tell by all my talking in this video, I had them finishing 4th place and a chance at the number 1 overall pick, Whether Tyler Shough is good or not can determine what you do with that number 1 overall pick if you were to get it, or just a high pick overall. I don't think this team's there yet, and they're going to need a lot of off seasons to go back. If Tyler Shough is good, you can maybe look to trade back, get some more picks, add some more depth to it. I do question if Mickey Loomis is the right guy to build this roster out fully, but I do like Kellen Moore as a coach that I think is very adapt to the modern style. He knows what he wants. He knows how to utilize players' strengths and all that. I think the team can go in the right direction. I question Mickey Loomis is the right guy, but they do have some pieces in place I do like. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked this video, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you share this, I'd greatly appreciate it. At the time of this recording, I'm at 278 subscribers. I'm trying to hit 300 subscribers by the start of the NFL season. All the support, I'd greatly appreciate it. Share this, get this video content out. If you disagree with me, go down in the comment section. I would love to debate with people about this. I love football and I love talking about it. If you're a Saints fan, you want to tell me how big of an idiot I am, I can accept that. I am not the brightest guy in the world, but I think I know football pretty well. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you all had a great day. Stay tuned. More content's coming on this channel, and peace out.